All right, I think we're ready to get started. So hi everybody, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy days to join us for today's webinar. I'm Jen Novick, I'm the head of marketing at Code3, and today is the second webinar in our series on the rise of social commerce, how brands can shorten the distance between discovery and commerce. For today's session, we are partnering with our team at Pinterest. And as I mentioned, this webinar is the second in our series, so keep an eye out for future events. And we are excited to get started, so let's go ahead and jump in. We'll do some quick introductions. Everyone will just go ahead, we'll go left to right, introduce yourselves. And as I mentioned, I'm Jen Novick, and I'm head of marketing at Code3. So I focus on overall strategy, business development, partnerships, and I have a long history in the marketing space on both the agency and the client side at global holding companies that you know, and some of the client side at Disney. And I'm excited to be here. So I made the move from the sort of larger traditional agencies to the more digital DR focused shops like Code3, who are laser focused on helping brands accelerate performance across digital platforms and really drive growth. So excited to be here and excited to get started.
Hi everyone, I'm Jen Garber, a team lead at Code3, working on strategy and media planning for accounts in the retail, home decor, and beauty verticals. I'm also the Pinterest platform lead at Code3 and work closely with the Pinterest team joining us today to ensure that as an agency, we continue to leverage Pinterest best practices and new products for our brands. I'm excited to be here as well.
Hey everyone, so great to meet you all, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. My name is Nikki. I'm the vertical strategy and marketing lead for retail at Pinterest. I'm relatively new to the company. I've been here about 6 months, but before joining Pinterest, I led marketing teams and was a budget owner at a few different brands, including Ralph Lauren and Jet.com. And what I'm most excited about in my new role here is how to leverage Pinterest and agency partners like Code3 to meet business needs. You know, as a retail marketer, I understand the challenges, and I'm grateful to be on the side that can offer tangible solutions to those challenges.
Hi everybody, I'm Julie. Thank you for having us here. I sit on our global agency team, working very closely with our top agency partners, holding companies as well as independents alike. And our team works very closely with agencies such as Code3 to educate and drive awareness of our key products, as well as socialize unique opportunities that a lot of brands out there are leveraging. So great to meet you all.
And hello everyone, my name is Caleb. Also on the global agency team, working with our independent agencies such as Code3. Excited to be here to share more about our narrative and also just partnering with Code3 to talk more about how e-commerce is continuing to really take shape here in this new age.
Thanks, guys. So before we get started, really quick housekeeping. The session is going to be recorded, so everyone who's here will receive an email afterwards with the recording, with the slides, and during the session, we're encouraging everybody to submit questions in the chat. We'll also have a section reserved at the end for Q&A, and we'll be able to have hopefully 5-10 minutes to go through live questions and answers. And if we're not able to cover anything that you're more interested in, feel free to reach out to me directly or any of us on the session today, and we'll be here to help you out. So setting the stage, here's what we're going to cover today. We'll do a really brief intro on Code3, so who the agency is, what we do, the value that we bring to brands, the state of social commerce, so what it is, it's sort of a buzzword, it's really taken hold in the last couple of years and especially the last year, so what it means and what it means for marketers. We'll kick it over to Pinterest to talk about what it actually means on the platform. So developments that the team has created, solutions the team has created, and yes, believe it or not, we're going to touch on holidays. So it's May 2021, but for marketers, it's going to be time to start thinking about holidays. So Pinterest has some solutions, and we have some ideas that are worth considering as you start planning. And not only are we going to provide information, but we want to provide some tactical, actionable steps that all of you tuned in can take to get started sooner rather than later if you haven't already started to explore shopping and commerce on social platforms and shopping on Pinterest specifically. So quick intro about Code3. I'm going to tell you who we are, what we do. So simply said, Code3 is a performance-driven marketing agency. Our mission is to accelerate growth for our clients across the most powerful digital platforms out there. And we do this by driving results at scale. So we're over 250 digital natives across 4 offices in the country, currently driving performance for brands across 20 different platforms. And we're spanning search, social, programmatic, and marketplaces. And really, we're thinking every day, all day, about how to help clients disrupt the space. So what that means is find new ways in, find innovative ways to meet consumers where they are, and drive tangible results. And one of the ways that we're proud to do this is through our close relationships with our platform partners like Pinterest. And what we've been able to do this year alone is help brands gain access to about 90 alphas and betas across the board. So it's something that we take a lot of pride in, and we're excited to bring to the table to help brands really ensure sort of constant experimentation, innovation, and results. And we expect, as you should too, to do that as quickly as possible. We are, if we go, yeah, thanks. If we go to take a look at this slide, the company we keep, we're lucky enough to really work with some really fantastic brands across a variety of verticals, whether small and large. And this quick snapshot of some of the brands that we work with today include Anheuser-Busch, Chipotle, LVMH, StockX, Fandango. These are just a few of the brands we're proud to work with and showcase category expertise across retail, CPG, D2C, food and bev, entertainment. And while we have category experience, we really think about everything that we do from the customer and the audience standpoint. So, you know, we think about driving behavior across audiences and occasions, which, as we all know, goes across different verticals. So it's really an audience first, sort of customer first focused approach. And really in every case, our goal is to establish deep partnerships and meaningful relationships with the brands that we work with, really becoming less of a vendor and more of a partner as these businesses are accelerating growth. And if we go to the next slide, thank you. So what we do, the name Code3 really reflects our commitment to delivering clients a comprehensive solution to all digital channels, not just social. And this name also helps embody our approach to digital, which hones in on 3 really key pillars, and those are media, creative, and commerce. On the media front, we take an agnostic approach, so allowing our partners to test and learn and run media on top performing channels. We really focus on finding the next best dollar spent, wherever that means. It might be Pinterest, it might be Facebook, it might be programmatic, it might be marketplaces and what we're able to do on Amazon. So we're able to test and really kind of find the right solution in an agnostic way. Creative, we have a really amazing creative team that, whether it's trans creation, net new production, strategy, product launches, our team collaborates with brands, and it's really about creating the right message at the right time and producing a high amount of content that's really on brand and strong and iterative. So we have a great team that we're super proud of. And on the commerce front, we have a focus on response and conversions. Our team really gets to the transaction point, codifying KPIs into success metrics and doing it again at speed and at scale. So media, creative, and commerce, we really think this is the intersection where we play and where brands need to be to win today.
And as a Pinterest partner, Code3 has worked closely with the platform to ensure that we are activating best practices and collaborating with them for strategic brand support, working with over 76 brands in the last 2 years, as Jen mentioned, within CPG, health and beauty, retail, and restaurant verticals. Over the past year, we've driven 3.2 billion impressions for our brands, driving a strong return on their investment. In this time frame, we've definitely seen a shift within the shopping landscape as consumers turn even more so to social platforms to shop, which I'll hand it back to Jen to take us through the state of social commerce.
Thanks, Jen. So we're going to get into Pinterest specifically in just a second, but thought it's worth taking a moment and talking about social commerce. So what it means where it's come from and sort of what the last, we won't go year by year, but really 50 years has looked like in the e-commerce space. So for today's purposes, think about social commerce as products or services that are ordered by buying directly on social platforms without ever having to leave the native experience. So the idea is see it, click it, buy it. Social media shops are really thought to remove friction from the consumer journey. And, you know, the person is there, the product's there, nowhere to go but check out. And ultimately, and as marketers and digital marketers, you most likely know this, but every click of the mouse is an opportunity for a potential customer to change their mind. If they have to go from the ad to the website to add a product to the cart to fill in their credit card info, it's a lot of moments to lose their attention. And social commerce really today is about removing those unnecessary steps and just bringing shopping right to social. So let's go to the next slide and we'll talk a little bit about how we've gotten here. So as marketers, you're deeply familiar with the evolution of online businesses. Our point in showing this slide is, again, not to go year by year, but just as a reminder to look at how e-commerce has been perceived and grown over time. And when e-commerce first launched, it was considered experimental. Marketers and people were slow to adopt to the new channel, and we all know what's happened since. It's really blown up, and it's been a slow and steady climb toward full e-commerce. So for marketers, the playbook has remained largely unchanged for 20 years. Leverage the flood of intent data from search, optimize digital interfaces, to merchandise and transact. And for people, e-commerce has been utilitarian and price-driven. Over time, convenience has driven more and more people to buy online. And again, we won't go year by year, but you know, looking back to the mid-90s through the 2010s, it's when people really could start buying online and get comfortable with the idea of storing credit cards on different platforms, getting things shipped to their homes. In the mid-90s, Amazon and eBay come on board, and that was really the first steps toward more of a ubiquitous e-commerce landscape. And we moved to the 2010s, and here it really started accelerating rapidly. Could be because of things like Amazon, Walmart, other marketplaces, and brands could also, through things like Shopify, bring sort of a closer relationship to consumers, whether it's that one-to-one buying experience that's sort of similar to what it was like to shop in store. All of that's been happening over the course of the last 25 years or so, which takes us to last year, 2020. So cue global pandemic. Everything has moved online: school, healthcare, entertainment, and e-commerce is no longer a convenience, but a lifeline for people. Last year, it wasn't that you could not only not go to a store, you had to shop online. Retailers had to adapt and pivot. Platforms like Pinterest, which is the focus today, also evolved capabilities. And some of the key shifts that we at Code3 really saw and have helped brands run with are things like BOPIS. So buy online, pick up in store has really taken off over the course of the last year and a half. On top of that, platforms investing more in mobile. Today, more than 50% of e-com purchases are done on mobile devices, so it's a really big priority. I think in stat I read from eMarketer outlined that I think mobile shopping spend is expected to surpass $143 billion in growth this year based on a year-over-year measurement. Virtual product visualization. Customers are trying virtual fitting rooms now to see and see how furniture will fit in their homes. Online consultations, live stream shopping events, and live stream shopping events is really interesting. It's something that we'll go deeper into that is taking place across the board and that we're starting to help beauty brands, retail brands really navigate. So the shift is dramatic, but it's not unexpected. It's just sooner than it was anticipated. And with all of this, platforms needed to change the way they connect with shoppers. Retailers needed to change the way they connect with shoppers. And that's where we are today with the goal of shortening the distance between discovery and commerce.
And so to build on what Jennifer was just talking about, at Pinterest, we're focused on making the platform more than a place where online shopping transactions happen. And what I mean by that is we understand so much of online shopping today is click to buy. It's super transactional. And to some extent, shopping sort of lost the fun, the excitement, and the joy that is normally connected to that IRL experience. Browsing, considering, looking, actually shopping. And I know that's what I miss as I continue to shop online myself. We'll go into this a bit more later, but our research is telling us that people do miss that experience they get offline. What's exciting, however, is that people on Pinterest are still 50% more likely to say they love shopping, and twice as likely to say that they're always shopping. Our audience is always on and always shopping. And sure, Pinterest is bringing the best of shopping online, but we want to make it more than just that online experience. Pinterest was built from the beginning as a native shopping experience. Shopping is endemic to our platform. Our visual search acts as a shopping browsing experience, and our ads are not disruptive. So we know all of this not only matters for shoppers, but for advertisers as well as they continue to build those relationships with consumers.
And at Code3, as shopping became more prevalent on Pinterest, it became imperative to include shopping within our media strategies. So as Pinterest notes, there's a 3 times higher conversion lift and a 3 times higher sales lift for Pinterest ad campaigns that include shopping ads compared to those that don't. And at Code3, we've seen strong performance to date from leveraging shopping, which we'll dive into some examples later on. So passing it to Caleb, who will talk a bit more about Pinterest mission, audience, and priorities.
Thank you, Jen. At Pinterest, we really encourage inspiration over influence. Inspire the like, but more important, the like beyond the like. That's why our mission is to bring everyone the inspiration to create a life that they love. If Pinterest were a country, it would surpass the United States as the 3rd largest in the world. Over 478 million people around the world come here each month to plan their next move, their next decision, and their next purchase. Pinterest is the home of inspiration. It's the only place on the internet where you can find the trends of tomorrow and visualize your future. You can reach 40% of US internet users each month, reach 6 in 10 US women, reach 1 in 4 US men, and Pinterest search is higher up the funnel. And 9 out of 10 people on Pinterest use it to make purchase decisions. And that should be an inspiring experience. Our audience on Pinterest is in a crucial mindset for brands. It's an audience that's growing and diversifying. In 2020, we saw a 40% increase amongst men and Gen Z on our platform. And as we hear from so many pinners, what we call our users, around the world, no matter what they want to do next or try next, Pinterest is always that starting place. As one pinner said, if I pin it, it will come. Pinterest is where they come to find and manifest ideas to turn into reality. As such, they're early in their journey. We see this in a remarkable stat that 97% of top searches are unbranded on the platform. Brands help them define things and make decisions. 83% of weekly pinners have made a purchase based on content they saw from brands on Pinterest. That's because on Pinterest, ads are content. They don't just interrupt, they inspire. They provide pinners with ideas they're looking for. Now I want to hand it over to Julie Pishkin to talk more about how our creators are turning inspiration into action on Pinterest.
Thanks, Caleb. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to talk about content. Particularly, there's a key difference about how Pinterest works versus other platforms. And that's that people come to Pinterest with an open mind to try something new. It means that they're welcoming ideas from brands and creators. We like to say that the content that performs on Pinterest is not about the self or the selfie. It's all about you, yourself. Last year, we launched Try On. We launched it for lipstick, and we'll have more to come in this area. But a key part of our product is the augmented reality technology. What's key is that it doesn't use filters, skin smoothing, or image altering effects that make you look less like you, as you might see with some other AR technologies. While our tech is called augmented reality, we like to say that it's more actual reality. So while you might not be able to easily walk into a store and try on makeup, this could be the next best thing. Our camera replicates a mirror and gives you recommendations along the way, offering a really great user experience. And as experiences move online, we're going to expect more tools like this for creators and users on Pinterest. So here's our creator content front and center. It makes it easy for pinners to discover content. Creators are at the intersection where expertise meets influence. This allows them to be a trusted voice that'll inspire pinners to take action. Creators are the original influencer. They're the best of the best content, and they're the expert voices. So here's some examples. From left, you have fashion designer Peter Somm, organizing consultant, and something everybody has probably watched on Netflix, Marie Kondo. Erin Parsons, global makeup artist. She's Maybelline's global makeup artist. You have beauty influencer and celebrity hairstylist, Justine Marjan, American DJ and fitness influencer, Hannah Bronfman. So what does inspiring content look like from Pinterest creators? Users come to Pinterest with intent to answer a question and to discover new ideas. Let's look at some types of content that performs well. In our research, this is what pinners want to see. Of course, each of you will bring that to life in totally different ways. And as many of you already know, pinners come to Pinterest looking to be inspired. I'm now going to hand it over to Nikki to talk about how pinners are taking more action on Pinterest than ever before, because Pinterest puts the inspiration back into online buying.
Cool, thanks, Julie. So we all understand and have witnessed the ways shopping and e-commerce has changed over the years, and especially in this past year. And if we can all just have a moment of truth, I think it's fair to admit that to some degree, online shopping isn't quite cutting it yet. People miss shopping IRL. They miss it a lot. Over 3 decades into e-commerce, and the majority of people, we're saying 6 in 10, say they prefer shopping in real life. And I know what you might be thinking, is a digital platform really saying this? We want to stop giving ourselves so much credit for innovating and start inspiring a new way of shopping online. So next, I'm going to share a couple things that people miss the most about shopping in store and how Pinterest is bringing the best of in-store shopping to our platform. So when we think about inspired shopping, it's visual, and people on Pinterest see something they love, which then inspires them to explore something else that they see, and they fall in love with that new product. Pinterest was built with shopping at its core. Shopping is endemic to the platform and not a second thought, whether a consumer is engaging with an organic or a paid service. And to further build on this point, inspired shopping on Pinterest is actionable. When you see something on Pinterest you'd like to own, you should be able to buy it or something just like it that matches your unique style. That's our vision for shopping with Pinterest. We're making continuous improvements to our shopping ad format so they are easier to use and so they appear in even more places on Pinterest. That means it's easier for pinners to pivot from inspiration to shopping, browsing to buying, and even easier for you to become their decision. And because our strong shopping surfaces and engaging platform, Pinterest continues to be the top site for shopper inspiration. And as we continue to capture this demand, we are excited to highlight a few of our newest products in Pinterest suite of shopping solutions. So we have created products that bring inspiration to Pinterest and make it easier than ever for brands to set up shop, scale sales, and prove impact. We are building on Pinterest shopping momentum and making Pinterest a place where you can inspire your customers and drive action. We have the tools for you to inspire pinners to shop and not just buy. One of my favorite new products is the collection ad for catalog sales. With this, brands can easily create collection ads at scale through our catalog integration. So I'm going to pass it over to Jen to tell you a little bit more about how a brand partner successfully leveraged this ad product for their recent campaign.
Well, thanks, Nikki. As mentioned, we wanted to highlight our work with Louis Vuitton, who run full funnel campaigns on Pinterest and provide a beautiful example of a collection asset showcased on the right from the holiday campaign in 2020, which highlighted gift ideas. Within this time frame, Pinterest shopping led to improved efficiencies, driving a cost per acquisition 50% below their standard benchmark with a year-over-year gain in ROAS. Based on this success, Louis Vuitton has continued to leverage Pinterest shopping specifically within dynamic retargeting and with the use of collection ad units as a great way to curate a selection of products and tie in effortlessly with Louis Vuitton's brand story. And passing it back to Nikki to take us through planning on Pinterest.
Yeah. So whatever the intent, whatever the kind of inspiration they're looking for, what unites all pinners is the mindset they bring to the platform. Pinners are planners, whether planning what's for dinner, what they should wear on their job interview, what their next tattoo should look like, or their house remodel, they come to Pinterest first. And to transition into how that can come to life in an actionable way, I wanted to talk a bit about our holiday strategy. So last year, we shared that Pinterest is a platform where pinners come early to plan for their holiday season. And this year, we want to build on that POV. We're going to tell you why early matters and how early adds up. So our guidance doesn't just come out of nowhere. We have proof on this too. Advertisers who take advantage of early holiday shoppers on Pinterest and run early holiday campaigns starting in September see better results. Pinners who are exposed to ads from brands early converted almost 5 times more than pinners who were exposed to ads late. Also, pinners who were exposed to brands early led to a nearly 3x increase in revenue per user than pinners who were exposed to brands late. And finally, advertisers saw almost a 6% incremental sales lift as a result of these early exposures. So more conversions, more valuable customers, net new sales, proof that early adds up, and why we really did want to talk about holiday in the month of May with everyone here today. Furthermore, we know that you'll hear a lot of predictions that Americans eager return to normalcy post-pandemic will shop early and enthusiastically. But on Pinterest, this early message is rooted in actual data and consumer behavior. So this slide has the proof. More shopping is completed early on Pinterest, and I'm saying before Cyber Monday than average across all other e-commerce sites. So in short, if you're going to act early anywhere, do it on Pinterest. And just to get a bit tactical, I wanted to share with you the easiest way to align pinner and advertiser behavior, which is to think of it in 4 simple phases, all mapped against the conversion curve you see in red on this chart. So phase 1 is about launching and inspiring. Want to plant the seed for holiday moments by increasing spend and introducing holiday messaging. When pinners are searching for holiday, it's not too early. In phase 2, it's about shifting it into high gear. So convert the incremental demand you cultivated and shift to shopping and search to capture sales on the most competitive shopping days. Phase 3 is about sticking the finish, maintaining those conversion budgets through December as pinners are shopping to the finish. Win this key month when broad consumer demand continues to remain high. And phase 4 is making January count. Launch a New Year campaign by December 26th with awareness tactics to take advantage of the cheapest CPMs of the year. And so back to Jen again to share with you another amazing example of how this came to life last year for a holiday campaign.
Thanks, Nikki. So we're going to take a deeper look at an example with Cost Plus World Market, who I'm proud to have worked with for the past year, supporting them in running full funnel and direct response campaigns. So in case you may not be familiar with who World Market is, they are a retail store who showcase unique artisan goods and handicrafts, international food and design inspiration for both furniture and home decor. They focus on value and affordability so that their products are accessible to anyone who wants to make their home and special occasions unique. If you're looking for summer outdoor patio ideas with Memorial Day this weekend, definitely go check out their selection. It's awesome. So this particular example touches on the success that we saw last holiday timeframe with activating Pinterest recommended plan ahead strategy. So in October, we activated a full funnel approach, including a holiday awareness video view campaign to provide holiday inspiration and highlighting the numerous products that one can find at World Market, such as holiday decor and food. We then ramped up spend and shifted into high gear in November and December, scaling more into our conversion campaigns, ultimately leading to a 730% increase in ROAS year over year. We saw the largest gains by leaning into the power that is Pinterest shopping. Based on initial success that World Market saw during their 2019 holiday season with shopping, we increased their 2020 investment by 50% and leveraged shopping campaigns with 2 approaches. First, as a prospecting play with a broad audience, and secondly, as a retargeting strategy to reach those close to purchase pinners. We saw strong ROAS performance across the board, but with specifically utilizing shopping to retarget our add to cart and view content audiences, we drove a 57% higher ROAS compared to World Market's average ROAS, signifying that the ease of functionality with Pinterest shopping paired with a high intent audience drives sales. So just based on this really great performance from last year, we're looking forward to what the 2021 holiday season has in store, and looking forward to continuing to build off of this great momentum for World Market.
Thank you, Jen. Those are great results. If you remember nothing else from today's talk, remember these three things. One, your audience is on Pinterest, more than 478 million. Two, online shopping isn't cutting it yet, but it is on Pinterest. We're committed to bringing the best of offline online. And thirdly, the holidays start today. Early adds up, and if you wait, you're late. On Pinterest, retailers can connect with their audience at the point of inspiration and take them from plan to purchase. We're not just building a place to transact. We're building a place for shopping with new ways for brands to connect across the full purchase journey and measure impact. When thinking about Pinterest, we encourage brands to take them from idea to I did, from making plans to making purchases. Now over to Jan with actions you can take right now.
So you might be wondering what's next for your brand. If you haven't yet tapped into the power that is Pinterest shopping, your next step will be to create shoppable content, which you can do so through creating a catalog, which is a product feed that lists all of your products and the corresponding attributes. And if you need support in this, there's integrations such as Shopify, which can streamline this process. If you're already leveraging shopping today, it's a great time to review if you're tapping into all the latest and greatest that Pinterest has taken us through today. Perhaps you have the opportunity to showcase a certain set of products within a collection asset, or to test into dynamic retargeting for your next campaign. And last but not least, the holidays are fast approaching. So now is the time to start thinking about planning ahead with your holiday messaging and starting that as early as September.
Okay, so let's recap. So over the course of the last 30 minutes, hopefully you all have taken away a little bit about who Code3 is, social commerce, what makes shopping on Pinterest different, how we're actually helping brands activate with LVMH and Cost Plus World Market. And then Jen, thanks for going through all of the actions brands can take now. I know it's feedback we've gotten in previous webinars is having those actions at the end is something that's really appreciated. So hopefully everybody here has gotten something out of that. And look, it would be impossible to cover this entire topic in all of the intricate sort of details in 30 minutes. So there's definitely questions that we would expect everybody, who's tuning in to have. And I've actually seen some questions already coming in. So I think we can take the next, 10 or so minutes and go through them, and don't hesitate to submit more if anything comes to mind. But I will take on throwing out the questions, and then Julie, Caleb, Nikki, Jen, jump in with whoever wants to answer. And again, thanks to all of the panelists who have done an incredible job just kind of taking the first step on this topic with Pinterest, and there will definitely be deeper discussions going in. Okay, so let's see. So here's the first question. It's about percentage of users on Pinterest. So, so somebody has asked what percentage of users decide what they should purchase based on, while they're interacting with the platform. Can anybody answer that question and provide a little bit of insight?
I can take that one. That's a great question. We've seen about 9 out of 10 users really come to Pinterest to make purchase decisions. That's why we really promote the idea of this platform. It's inspirational, and that brands who really find success is because they're really leaning into that inspiration, and they're creating content that's not disruptive, but really adding to the experience on Pinterest.
So here's another one. So Nikki, I think you talked through, or maybe it was Julie, the partnerships with creators. And one of the questions is, can you define creators? Is it the same as influencers? Is it speaking to brands who are creating content? What does the term creators actually speak to?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. Creators are going to be a little bit different than influencers. Creators are people that are invited onto the platform on Pinterest and are creating really high quality content. So Marie Kondo, we have beauty influencers, fitness influencers, etc. And they're being asked to sign what we call the creator code. And it's a set of guidelines that we've put out there for creators who want to help make Pinterest an inspiring space for everybody. So the code is something that lives in our platform. It's intended to educate and build community around really inclusiveness, compassionate content. It outlines a specific set of rules for our creators that we ask them to follow when creating content. That's really the core of what a creator is. And those rules are, be kind, ensure that the content doesn't put down other people, it doesn't insult people. Check your facts, right? We want to make sure that all content that is pushed onto Pinterest is accurate, that it's factual. We always ask them to be aware of triggers, practice discretion when it comes to really any visually sensitive content. That's not something that we particularly allow on Pinterest. Practice inclusion, it's part of our creator code, right? Never intentionally exclude certain groups or communities. And ultimately just do no harm. Make sure that any call to action or a challenge that they're putting out there is safe. Our creators will see a notification in an app. They must agree to the code before publishing content. And they must acknowledge their responsibility for keeping Pinterest a safe and positive space. So really the unique way that it differences from influencers, as you might see on other platforms, influencers might be, and by no means am I putting this out there, but like lower grade content. It might be a little bit more user generated content. Our creators they're kind of the top tier. They're kind of the hand selected people that are making really visually beautiful content. And for that reason, and I'll just be very blunt, we're not really offering tons of brand partnerships with creators. We're really focused on creators as a way to get beautiful, inspiring content onto Pinterest, more of it, right? We have a ton of it. We're not stopping. And by doing so, that's how we're going to continue to inspire our pinners. That's going to be how we continue to get brands on Pinterest, capturing that pinner audience. So we're going to continue to expand our reach. You're going to see our creators expand over time. And we'll probably, expand into more of what you see from influencers on other platforms. But right now it's just that top tier content with, brand names that and acknowledge.
Got it. So it's less about sort of selling product and more about doing kind of, Caleb, what you were talking about earlier with regard to building a place that continues to be inspirational. And, kind of I think you spoke about the quote of a pinner said, if I pin it, it will come. And, how pinners are really using the platform to find and manifest ideas. So it sounds like creators really falls in that sort of landscape.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. We had a question that came in around holiday. So the question is, do brands see lifts? I mean, I think you guys touched on this a little bit, but what's the kind of lift that a brand can or should expect by starting early on holiday messaging on Pinterest? And this year, if we were getting tactical, maybe from a month's standpoint, when would you say to really get into high gear?
Yeah, I can take this one. So, I think we've all understand that there is a bit of pent-up demand that is probably going to come to fruition in Q3 and Q4, and holiday is going to be such an important time for people and for families across the country. And we're really thinking about how advertisers can appropriately leverage that pent-up demand and action on what is going to be probably one of the most important and impactful holiday seasons ever. So what we wanted to make sure we got across was that advertisers who take advantage of the early holiday strategy and the early holiday shoppers that are on Pinterest, they'll start to see results when they start running campaigns in September. So Jennifer, to your question on timing, we're saying September is really the time to start when you would want to push, maybe not the explicit holiday message, right? It's not, no one wants to hear about it 3 months or 4 months ahead, but it is starting to plant the seed on what takeaway you want that shopper and what that audience should be thinking about as they consider your brand for the holiday season. And so the learnings that we have from our early campaign last year is that pinners who were exposed to brands early led to that almost 3x increase in revenue per users than pinners who were exposed to brands late. And that's something that we really want to make sure that people and folks on this call are understanding, is that early does add up when you take advantage of that early strategy. And also the last bit that we want to make sure comes through is that advertisers saw almost that 6% incremental sales lift due to those early exposures. So if I were to take it back to my marketing days when I was on the brand side, you know, stats like that mean a lot, and it would definitely give me a moment to think through, like, all right, how am I going to consider our holiday plans for this year, just so that I don't miss the ball and the strategic opportunity that is going to be available for this holiday season that may not have existed before.
Right. That makes total sense. Thanks.
Yeah.
So another question, are there any shareable learnings on best practices for Pinterest social commerce by category? So to continue, fashion and apparel seems to be very engaging and a natural fit for features like AR, but what about less engaging categories such as financial services, maybe some CPG, etc.? That might be Julie, Nikki, Jen. I think, you know, another way to kind of word it might be what are some of the verticals, Jen, at Code3 that you really are seeing lean into shopping on Pinterest? And, you know, are any of these others like CPG or financial services gaining some traction, or we are a little bit a ways from that?
Yep, so we're seeing the adoption of Pinterest shopping really across the board with our retail clients. So we recommend that if you have e-commerce set up, to really test it out and see how it performs for you. Some brands that we are seeing really lean into shopping include like our high-end fashion brands, as well as those like in the athleisure space, flower delivery, as well as one of my clients in the beauty and skincare vertical. We just recently launched Pin shopping there, and we're starting to see some really great performance as well. And I think like the Pinterest team, I know it's not always a great fit for CPG, but I believe that you guys have a recommendation on how those who don't own the point of sale can take advantage of Pinterest performance products.
Got it.
Yeah, and I can chime in a little bit on the CPG front, Jennifer.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So we've been leaning very hard into automation. And we know that brands often within the CPG world that don't own the point of sale want to figure out how to take advantage of our performance products. So yesterday, or just very recently, I don't know if it was yesterday or a couple of days before that, but we launched automatic bidding for awareness. So advertisers on the platform can let Pinterest do the work when it comes to bidding for both awareness and consideration campaigns. And there are third-party carding partners that are a great way to make that landing page more actionable. And some of those partners allow for tagging the landing page so you can measure and optimize against that user behavior. So that's just another way for some of our partners or brands, especially within the CPG world, to think about how to best leverage some of our performance products.
And I think one other thing to add, because I know FinServe was actually brought up there, is you know, how we think about tag and feed health. So when we're thinking about performant products, it's not necessarily just a checkout, right? When you think about retail and that checkout and shopping experience, I think we have the Pinterest tag, and this can really be adapted to various goals. So, you know, a FinServe client, for example, might want to drive account signups or applications to receive a loan. These are all things that we can actually track via the Pinterest tag, and I think that we are seeing huge success across various verticals. It doesn't always have to be just that, you know, click to check out. It can be really customized to whatever your end goal is, and we can make it performant.
Okay, great. So I think we're at 2:45. We've covered a ton of good content, and again, really appreciate everybody tuning in. If there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We can hang tight for a little bit, or you know, send us a note. I'm jennifer.n@code3.com. or info@code3.com, and we'd be happy to schedule any other time to kind of talk about best practices. And speaking of best practices, one of the pieces that nobody asked a question about this specifically here, but there has been a lot of conversation recently about privacy, about iOS 14 updates, and we're in the process of putting together a piece that looks at what brands can and should do or be aware of across different platforms, and have been able to work really closely with Caleb, Nikki, and Julie on the Pinterest piece. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully we'll be able to share something with everybody in the next week or so. But hopefully everybody has gotten something out of this session and this time. We really appreciate it, and big thanks to Nikki, Jen, Caleb, Julie for joining, and everybody for letting me take on the role of moderating. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, take care.